Was geht ab, meine Freunde? Was geht ab, meine Soldaten? Was geht ab, meine Weggefährten? Okay, ey, Leiter, Icon wird heute nicht abgespielt, erst ab Januar. Nichtsdestotrotz gehen wir heute rein mit einer, ja, Diggi, Alter. Kranke Sachen, ihr wisst ja, Digga, ich stehe auf so Sachen, Alter. Leider Gottes, ich bin mir sicher, viele von euch auch. Mm. Das müssen wir uns zusammen reinziehen und das gucke ich mir gerne an und wieso nicht mit euch? Ein Killerpaar, was ungefähr nach 8 Jahren, ähm, ja, was die Polizei an der Tür klopft. Und ich bin selbst gespannt. Ich weiß nicht, um was es geht, Leute. Deswegen holt euch was Lockeres, macht's euch gemütlich. Draußen sowieso Schnee, alles kalt. Heute ist Sonntag. Ganz locker, auf entspannt, verstehst du? Nicht draußen abkacken. Auf.
Hey, are you Ross?
Hey,
I'm
what's
Tyler
up?
Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing?
This is Ross Velarde, and for the last 8 years, he and his wife Amy have been living with a terrifying secret that these detectives are about to expose.
I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015. We'd like to talk to you.
Amy's parents, Mike and Kathy, as well as Amy's grandmothers, Barbara and Violet, were brutally murdered inside their own home in 2015, leaving police with the grueling task of solving a quadruple homicide.
As family members, we want answers.
But unbeknownst to everyone, Ross and Amy were the killers all along.
We're not here because we think you did it or you might have did it. We know you did it. It's piling up, Ross. You don't want to roll the dice on this, I'm telling you.
On November 1st, 2015, Mike and Kathy Scott, alongside their mothers, Barbara and Violet, were found brutally murdered in their trailer home. Everyone was found with similar injuries, a slashed throat and a gunshot wound to the head made after they died. They were also found with knife wounds on their hands, indicating that each victim had tried to fight back before being killed. There were even bloody handprints on the doors and walls, showing that someone had even tried to escape after they'd been stabbed. The terrifying scene inside the trailer home would go completely unnoticed for the entire day, until, according to Amy, she went to check up on her parents and found them lying dead inside their home. And at around 12:30 that day, Amy decided to call 911.
911, what's location of emergency?
Oh my God! I need somebody out here.
What's going on?
Oh God!
There's 4
In my mama's house, and
Who are these people that are in the house?
it's my mom and my grandma and my granny and my stepdad.
When Anderson County Police arrived on the scene, they said it was one of the bloodiest scenes they'd ever been to. But something was off. Detectives noted no signs of forced entry and thought it couldn't have been a robbery as there were multiple valuable items left in plain sight inside the home. This made 2 things clear to detectives. Whoever was responsible was allowed inside the home before the acts, and that they only had one thing on their mind: murder. It seemed like this case had to have been committed by someone close to Mike and Kathy, but with insufficient evidence, the case slowly went cold, allowing Amy and Ross to get back on the streets and live their normal lives again for years to come. But police always had their suspicions about this case and were never comfortable letting it stagnate. Amy's Facebook page showed that she constantly had fights with Kathy and Mike over her children, often calling them narcissistic, emotionally abusive, and disrespectful. What's most disturbing was a video of Ross and Kathy's fighting found on Amy's page, where Ross says something that would come back to haunt him forever.
Why don't you have Grandma come out here real quick?
I don't think your grandma wants to deal with this trash.
Showed you, stop. Yep, see ya. Oh,
In addition to this eerie statement from Ross, police found something that seems damning. They discovered a photo Mike had sent to a coworker just 2 days before his death, a couple of $100 bills. And inside Amy and Ross's trailer was a neatly organized stack of $100 bills, exactly the same serial numbers as Mike's. At the time, this was all treated as circumstantial, but slowly more coincidences would begin to line up that gave police enough reason to suspect Amy and Ross as potential killers. So, in 2023, they reopened the case, nearly a decade after the events that put an end to nearly an entire family. Detectives started by launching a series of interviews with Mike and Kathy's closest peers to try and get a better picture of Amy and Ross, and see if they might have been responsible after all. They begin with Mike and Kathy's neighbor, to learn about Amy's relationship with her mom, and if he saw anything the day of the incident.
With the daughter, got angry with her, and kept the children from Kathy.
So tell us about that.
It seemed that they really tried to help Amy a lot. And Mike and Kathy, they really took care of the kids. And it broke Kathy and Mike's heart. She just really missed the kids, and the two older ladies that lived there, they were used to the kids coming in and out.
Do you think Kathy was afraid at all of Amy and Ross?
No, she never expressed that. But it was always the talk of the area that Mike would go to flea markets and he would get some kind of video games that he collected. There was a good resale market for them, and that he would buy any old jewelry that had some gold in it. It was always a rumor that he kept a lot of cash and gold stuff around.
Not only did Mike collect jewelry and other rare memorabilia, but it was well known in the community that Mike always had a large sum of cash with him because he feared putting money into the banking system. This made Mike a large target, especially amongst those who knew him well.
I think you've got to be one sick puppy to go in there and kill two helpless old women. The thoughts that somebody came in and killed those people, I still have nightmares about that.
This tells detectives that the murder could have been done for financial reasons, especially since this fact wasn't a secret at all. Couple this with the fact that Mike's money was currently sitting safely inside Ross and Amy's safe at home. A picture is starting to form of what might have actually happened that night. But still, nothing is certain at all, and police next head to Roxy Voorhees, an ex-employee of Amy and Ross's, who worked at their pet grooming business during the months leading up to the crime. Roxy had spoken to Amy almost every day for months before the incident, so if anyone had some information to give, it'd be her. And they were exactly right. What they found was so sinister, it blew the case wide open.
Ross had made a joke and said, do you want me to It was a joke at the time.
Right.
Then later I was like, holy.
Ey, Chat, ich feier solche krasse Aufnahmen. Ich schwör's dir, ich feier das. Ich weiß auch nicht, warum die das in Deutschland nicht so veröffentlichen. Wisst ihr, was ich meine? So mit Bodycam und so. Digga, ich feier das, Alter. Digga, Alter.
I'm glad I didn't say
Guck mal, wie gelassen die das.
Amy, right? What was your job there?
A bather, and
Bather.
I was learning in the process of grooming.
When you worked for the shop, you said they were just getting started, so they weren't very successful yet.
They appeared that they were fine.
Okay.
But then I would hear arguments of them, and a lot of it was money related. When I started working for her, I seen Kathy and Mike at the grooming shop. I was in the back grooming, so I didn't hear everything that was going on, but it was something to do with money.
Okay.
Throughout working there, she'd always tell me about how she was treated growing up and all of that.
What kind of stuff would she say about how she was treated?
She told me that she was always a daddy's girl, and she said her dad had he was working on a car and it crushed him, and he was placed in the hospital. And her mom decided to pull the plug. She always hated her mom for that.
Detectives learned that their grooming business wasn't as successful as they claimed it was. Based on bank records collected by police, Amy and Ross's proven income in 2013 was $25,622. However, in 2014, Ross spent $14,200 on a Ram truck, $5,700 on a Mustang, $10,000 on a Harley FXE, and another $5,000 on a Harley XL. Close to $35,000 on luxury purchases, but an income of just $25,000. With these poor financial decisions, the couple needed money, and they needed it badly. In 2014, their business fell short, making just over $3,000 for the entire year. Things were bad, and they were on the brink of bankruptcy. So when the cops found $67,000 in cash hidden in their home, they knew something seriously strange was going on. Ross claims that he'd been saving the money for years, but detectives don't buy it at all. They're certain that, at a minimum, Ross and Amy had to have stolen from the house on the day of the murders. But to some extent, this was all known about 8 years ago, and it's still all circumstantial. For all the cops knew, Amy could have noticed the dead bodies in the trailer and grabbed the cash out of desperation before calling the police. So there had to be something that set this investigation apart from the one back in 2015. However, this case would take a complete 180 after detectives would find their most blatant, crucial piece of evidence yet. When going through all the CCTV cameras throughout the town on the day of the murders, police found footage of Ross walking out of a gas station that night. Nothing is suspect at first, until you look a little closer. The shoes he's wearing are Asics Gel Speedstar 5s, a model whose sole design just so happens to perfectly match the bloody footprints that were found inside the trailer. This claim was even confirmed by the shoe company themselves, and the pattern is unique to this specific model, making it clear to detectives that Ross Velarde is a cold-blooded killer. All the evidence had come together. The abundance of cash in Ross and Amy's home, Mike's $100 bills in Ross's safe, identical shoes to the killer, and an ugly past with Mike and Kathy. Police now believe they have everything they need to charge Ross and Amy with the murders. So, on December 11th, 2023, they decide to confront Ross and Amy at their new home to finally uncover the truth about that night once and for all.
Hey, are you Ross? I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing? How's it going?
I got assigned the case.
Der Schlappschwanz hat gerade bestimmt geschlafen. Ne? Gegessen, kleines Mittagsschläfchen, ne? Du Langhaut, Allah.
At the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015.
Okay.
Is Amy here?
She is.
So since she's the one that called
Warte
911,
mal,
I
ich
think
muss
you were
richtig
there.
mitbekommen. Nochmal. Guck mal, Leute, Chat.
Uncover the truth about Ross and Amy.
Guck mal, wie die klopfen.
So,
Guck mal
on
sein
December
Gesicht.
11th, 2023, they decide to confront Ross and Amy at their new home to finally uncover the truth about that night once and for all.
Achtet mal auf sein
Hey.
Gesicht.
Are you Ross? I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing? How's it going?
I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015.
Okay.
Is Amy here?
She is.
So since she's the one that called 911, I think you were there also. We'd like to talk to you. If you want to come on out, we'll talk to you, and then we can talk to her. Can you describe, I guess, your relationship with Mike and Kathy?
I had a good relationship with Kathy. My relationship with Mike was really great, actually. It kind of turned sideways a little bit July 4th.
So I think y'all had got married that year, is that right?
Correct.
In 2015?
Yes, October 24th.
The 24th. That would have been, what, about a week or so before?
Yep. The
Ja,
last
die
time
passen
that
so
I
gut
saw
zusammen
Mike
wie die
and
Faust aufs
Kathy
Auge.
was before Amy and I left to come down that Halloween. We had just gotten back from my mom and dad's. She went to knock on the back door, but the back door kind of just like was already cracked open or something like that. And that's when she apparently found the scene that she found. She went bolting back out of the house. I think she called 911 before she called me, if I remember correctly.
So you didn't go over to the other trailer?
No.
Or to Mike and Kathy's trailer?
Correct. I never went in that trailer that day.
So after you last seen them, you never went in their place again?
Correct. Yeah.
The detectives are baiting Ross into a trap, as they know based on the footprints that Ross did without a doubt step into the house on the night of the murders. Later on, they'll be able to confront Ross about these blatant lies in hopes they can shock him into a complete confession.
There was a couple things that kind of were red flags, but I don't know if they have anything to do with this or not. Mike bought and sold a lot of items, and some of the people that he was buying from were pretty shady sometimes. So that's another kind of red flag that I had as I was trying to just replay like events leading up to the homicide. Should I have seen something?
You're just starting out with this. If you were us, what would you do? What do you think happened there, Ross?
He's the first gentleman that's asked me that. TV shows that I watch always say, follow the money. and you find out where the real motives are.
Ross is unknowingly digging himself into an even deeper hole. When the money is traced, it leads right back to his and Amy's pockets. But there's only so much Ross can do. The police aren't telling him that he's their main suspect, so all he can do is keep on lying, devastatingly unaware that they've already unraveled his entire scheme.
They destroyed our business. From January to when this happened, I made just shy of $100,000 with our mobile grooming business. As soon as this happened, with all the media coverage, all of that went away because of this.
And you said you had a large amount of money in your single wide. Is that where the money came from?
The money that was in our single wide in my safe, about $80,000, that was literally the life savings between Amy and myself.
The detectives know Ross is lying through his teeth, but for the sake of having a civil conversation with Amy, they'll hold off on confronting and accusing Ross until after their talk with Amy.
Just shovel the bullshit out of that front seat right now so Amy can get in.
Ey, Chat, was ich aber nicht verstehe, gell? Warum nehmen die nicht einfach in Revier, 2 Autos? Die Frau hier, der Mann da. Warum im Auto? Warum so abwechselnd? Ist da draußen noch ein Polizist, der aufpasst? Nicht, dass der rausläuft. Ey, die haben das und das mich abgefragt. Pass auf, das, sag das und das. Wisst ihr, was ich meine? Komisch, Alter.
He's the victim, you know.
So easy.
Oh, I got that very quickly. But follow the money.
Follow the money.
You could tell that he's...
Yeah, I saw him.
And every time he's talking, he can't look at you in the face.
I know. You got a tiger by the tail here, though, buddy. Don't think you don't. This is a career case, let me tell you.
Your grandmother, and then obviously Mr. Scott and his mom. What do you remember? What can you help us with? Where should we look?
Yeah, me and my therapist talk about that a lot. Obviously, you got to know finding people doesn't really leave you in the right state of mind. Can do things to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then everything that ensued. I mean, honestly, I can barely remember the funerals.
Ross, tell us a little bit about like the relationship between, like, I guess y'all and the family. Something happened?
We got into it around 4th of July or something with Mike, but he wasn't a nice person at all. Because I told my mom, look, I don't like it. My kids can't come over there until we straighten some stuff out.
So at the time of the murders, you and your mom were back talking, everything was kind of getting patched up?
Me and my mother was not a horrible person.
Ey, Chat, was ich auch nicht verstehe, warum reden die alle ohne Anwalt? Bei aller Liebe, ob du jetzt irgendwas damit zu tun hast oder nicht. Ich meine, bei so jetzt so kleine Sachen, Kleindelikte oder so. Aber bei sowas doch nicht.
She was prickly.
She always hated her mom.
So can you tell us a little bit about that weekend when were you gone, when you got home and you found the bodies, or what happened?
He buried his mom's, my mother-in-law, to do Halloween. We went down there, we spent the weekend.
What day did y'all leave to go down?
Friday night?
Friday night.
I drove myself quite crazy for about a couple of years there. And I've chosen to step away, and I've got to be healthy, and I've got kids, and I've got a life to live, and if somebody else dropped the ball on it, it's not on me anymore.
Okay. Well, if we just ask Ross a couple more things, then we'll be out of here.
Now that Amy has been spoken to as well, detectives are ready to drop the ball on Ross and let him know that they don't suspect him of the murders. They know he did it.
A couple more things, and we're going to get out of here, okay? There was something that had come up. Do you remember owning like a red pair of shoes?
Red pair of shoes?
ASIC Speedstar shoes.
Don't recall.
These ASIC Speedstar shoes.
Yeah, okay, I remember those shoes.
What happened to the shoes?
That's a good question, because I have no idea.
This is from crime scene photos, and these are confirmed to be ASIC Speedstar shoes.
Okay.
Inside, and they have blood droplets on them. And interestingly enough, you're at the Quick Trip wearing those shoes the night of the murders.
Okay.
So if you never went in the house, I'm just interested to know how they ended up in the house.
I have no idea how those shoes would have had any kind of blood on them. I mean, obviously I was wearing them at a Quick Trip on the 31st.
Well, and they never found the clothes either that you were wearing.
That hoodie?
Mm-hmm.
me think here.
If y'all left on Halloween afternoon, but you're on video there, the timeline doesn't add up. The fact that your shoes are inside of the house in blood, that's a big problem.
Again, I don't know where the shoes are at the moment, and I don't remember whatever happened to those particular shoes. If something were to have happened that I had done, it would be stupid for me to wear them into the house and then wear them after that, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were never found. So it's almost like you got rid of them.
I highly doubt I got rid of them then, but I mean...
Here's the bottom line, okay? So we know what happened, and we're about to prove it.
Okay.
So the opportunity for you is now. If you want to look out for yourself, is to really just to tell us what happened. If this was something that Amy put you up to doing, because obviously you have the skill set.
Ey, Chat. Digga, Alter, guck mal, bei aller Liebe. Natürlich, der soll bestraft werden. Wisst ihr, was ich meine, so? Aber Digga, Alter, wenn du doch nicht reden kannst, dann nimm doch einen Anwalt, du Vogel.
Go in here and do this, and y'all did benefit from the murders, okay? Because you got a lot of money. We've been through your financials, okay?
We did not get a lot of money from this.
Y'all were struggling all up until the murders. The money found in your safe, there's money photos from Mike's computer that match the same serial numbers as the money that was found in the safe. So it's not savings. That's money that was found inside of Mike and Kathy's house that Mike was saving, and y'all took it after you killed him, okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you right now, we're gonna prove it. If you think she's not gonna crack on you when we do, then you're mistaken.
We're not here because we think you did it or you might have did it. We know you did it, okay? We're just here as a courtesy. I'm just telling you, Ross, financially at the time, things were really bad. We got text messages between you and Amy saying you don't have the money a few weeks before. And you said it the best, follow the money. We did that. We led right into your single wide. It's piling up, Ross. You don't want to roll the dice on this, I'm telling you. It's not going to come up pretty.
If, for instance, Amy and I decided to, or if I decided to take a deal,
right,
mine is going to be better than Amy's because I came to the trough first, right?
Right.
So prison time, no matter what. Amy, prison time, no matter what. My 3 kids in here, they grew up without a father and a mother. Granted, my mother would be more than willing to take them. I understand that.
We're not the ones who put you on this predicament. Now you're gonna have to deal with the consequences.
10, 20 years in prison. That's best case minimum scenario, I would imagine, right?
It's better than the rest of your life or death, isn't it?
I mean, it might as well be one of those two. By the time I get out, my kids aren't going to know who the f I am. I mean, the other option is I probably need to talk to a lawyer at this juncture here.
All right, Ross.
You're free to go.
I respect that.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
4 days after these interviews, Amy and Ross were arrested in Pendleton, South Carolina, and were charged with the 4 brutal murders of Kathy Scott, Mike Scott, Barbara Scott, and Violet Taylor. The 2 are being held in prison without bond while they're tried in court. The couple's next court appearance is set for later this year, where they'll meet their true fate in the hands of a...
Okay, ey, krank, ey, Chat. Okay, die haben die Dings erfunden. Ey, das ging jetzt so schnell vorbei, Alter. Guck mal, was hier steht. Der alte Mann, das kann doch nicht wahr sein, oder wollen wir uns das reinziehen? Warte mal. 79 Jahre alt. Ich frag mich wirklich, ey, komm, wir ziehen es uns rein, Chat, okay? Ich frag mich wirklich, was hat der alte Mann mit seiner Frau gemacht?
This is 79-year-old Harold Seidenfaden.
Da weint jetzt.
Value, Harold looks like an elderly, innocent man. But when police arrived to his home in Houston County, Georgia, they...
habt ihr gesehen, Chat, wie viele Polizeiautos? Da hinten, hinter dem ist bestimmt auch noch einer.
Houston County, Georgia, they discover something so terrifying they couldn't possibly believe that Harold was responsible. On the morning of February 7th, Houston County sheriffs would receive a disturbing 911 call from a frantic man claiming his neighbor had just shot his wife.
911, what's your emergency?
My neighbor, he just came
Der hat einfach seine Frau erschossen.
up through my yard, all covered in blood. I guess what he's saying is he and his wife had a big argument, and he might have killed her.
Okay, what's the address, sir?
It's 2356 Elko Road.
All right, and do you know where he is right now?
Yeah, he just walked into my house. He's sitting in the kitchen.
Does he have any weapons on him?
Well, I found a knife, but she took it from him.
Quickly, police rushed to the homes, waking up the quiet community of Elko, Georgia.
Ey, krank dieses
Officers
Land.
had little
Dieses
to no
Land ist so
information about what
krank,
happened,
krank wie
so
jedes
they would
andere.
take extreme precautions and look at everyone on the scene as a potential suspect.
Give us the first on the caller, please.
Best I got is a male named Bud, possibly about 80 years of age. His number was should be in the residence with the caller. The caller's in the neighbor. I'm not sure on the address where it occurred.
I don't think this is going to be the... Come up here. What's going on, fella? Keep your hands up where I can see him.
Where's he at?
Where is he at?
He's in my house with my wife. He called me. He said, Nate, are you home? I said, yeah. He said, have you got a gun? I said, yeah. I said, yeah, bud, what you need? He said, I need you to shoot me. Me and Deb had it out. She left. She gone. Yeah. I said, Brother Bud, I walk out to talk to him. Yeah. I walked out door. He's in the yard right here. Blood all over his shirt and everything. His hands.
Where does he live?
In the camper back there behind me.
Do you know, is he in the house right now?
Yeah. We're dealing with my wife. I mean, he's no danger. He ain't got nowhere.
Ey, Chat, stellt ihr euch mal vor, alle, Digga, ihr seid in Rente, ihr seid ältere Leute, alle, und dann kommt auf einmal auch ein älterer Typ, dein Nachbar, dein Freund, ihr geht so Bierchen trinken, Fußball gucken oder beziehungsweise Football oder ihr geht Theater, Museum, was weiß ich, weißt was ich meine? Eines Tages alle einfach so die Frau, der Freund ruft dich an, ey, komm mal, hast du eine Waffe, komm mal sofort hierher, ich brauch deine Hilfe, du musst mich erschießen. Junge, alle, ey, der kommt nach Hause und sieht, da ist Blut überströmt, die Frau ist tot. Digga, wie krank ist das?
You're not gonna get hurt, okay? Can you tell us what's going on? You okay? What's going on?
I was supposed to get operated on Monday. I've been operated on for a full year. Shoulder. I tore the shoulder out before they...
You don't have anything on this right here.
Where'd you get all the blood from?
My wife and me.
Where is she at?
She's down in the house. She's a good woman, but me and her, she wanted me to get operated on Monday, and I wanted to wait on it.
Okay.
I've been operated on.
Is she okay?
She's gone.
This...
Digga, wegen. Subhan Allah, Bruder, alles steht geschrieben. Bei ihm war das geschrieben. Das war geschrieben, dass es so passieren wird. Subhanallah, in welchem Alter?
This is the exact moment that officers realized the severity of the situation. It's hard to assume the worst when your suspect is as calm and brittle as Harold is. They had no idea he had just killed his own wife. And it's not until Harold reveals she's likely dead that the officers realize there's a dying body that needs immediate attention.
She's gone.
Cover her, cover him. Come on.
Was ein dreckiger, ehrenloser Typ, Allah. Was ein dreckiger...
Officers can never fully trust a witness or a suspect's claims. For all they know, someone could be hiding inside the trailer with a weapon.
Ey, Chat, ein Polizist in Amerika zu sein, ist auch bestimmt brutal, Alter. Aber das ist auch so ein richtig so, du... Alter, du läufst auf dünnen Faden. Der hat doch gesagt, unten im Keller, Mann. Geh und guck, wo die Treppe nach unten führt, du Esel. Weg, geh, Mann. Da ist doch niemand. Der Typ ist alleine, alt. Wer ist da?
With no idea as to where Deborah's body is, officers turn to Harold to give some insight to quicken their search.
Hey, ask her where she's at.
Where's she at in the camper? in the back room.
Back room? Supposed to be in the back room. How many rooms are in the camper?
Got it. The living room, and there's a door that goes into the back room.
25. Living room, then the door, then the back room?
Huh?
Which side, what side's the bedroom? On the left?
Oh, yeah, on the left. Look back in the back.
Dieser dreckige Bastard, Alter. Hoffentlich kriegt er Schläge. Hoffentlich. Hoffentlich kriegt er Schläge im Knast. Scheiß aufs Alter.
Nothing.
Strangely, even with Harold's help, the body is nowhere to be found. This is concerning, and officers decide to resort to their next best option, searching the perimeter of the trailer.
Junge, holt Hunde und lasst die los. Weg von der Leine. Der Hurensohn hat keine Kraft, Alter. Das muss doch irgendwo hier sein. Der hat den Gefriertruhe oder so, der Bastard. Der kann die doch nicht hochheben. Irgendwo hinter das Haus, hinter einem Baum oder hinter Scheune. Ihr müsst gucken, wo Blut ist. Die hat ja Blut verloren. Irgendwo müsst ihr Blut sein. Ach, Digga, Alter.
Where she's at? She's on the back bed. She's under the blanket.
Wo war sie? Unter dem?
He covered up the blanket.
The body was lying in front of the officer the entire time, and by the time they discovered her, it was far too late. Deborah Seidenfaden was dead.
Ja, Alter.
Now that the hunt to potentially save Deborah was
Junge, nimmt
over,
den Handschellen,
officers
Alter.
had to make sense of this disturbingly confusing situation. Why in the world did Harold kill his own wife? To make sense of everything, they decided to speak to Harold himself to better understand his side of the story.
Bud, you ain't got no weapons or anything else on you, do you? You need any knives or anything? Hold on, don't. Okay. Just your phone?
Yeah. No.
Well, we didn't have exact on everything, so unfortunately we had to be safe, not sorry. And by us being safe, that actually keeps you safer.
Yeah. Well, that prosthesis goes down into the bone. It broken out. Boom. And now, I can't.
Der Hurensohn hat nichts anderes zu tun, Alter, wie über die OP im Krankenhaus zu reden, über seine scheiß Prothese, du kleiner Bastard. Im Kranken... Ach, Digga, Alter. Scheiß drauf.
Couldn't drink, had a little foul, floppy. This way goes around. This even split the skin.
Junge, nimm den in Handschellen, ihr ekelhaften Missge...
14 days. And the stupid doctors say you're diabetic and your blood sugar's too low. I said I hadn't ate anything or drank anything. Hadn't ate anything or drank anything for 14 days. Sure, my blood sugar's low. Need to drink bleach.
When was that? When did you drink bleach? This morning?
Harold's story is tragic. The pain of his surgeries and health issues had ruined his life. The pressure was building from Deborah, pushing him to get another surgery, and eventually, Harold snapped, taking Deborah's life instead of his own.
Ma'am, don't put anything on it right now just because of the blood. No. I understand that, but there's also other things going
Junge,
on.
nimm den hoch, Alter, du Hurensohn! Ist es dein Vater oder was, Alter, du dreckiger, Alter? Was sind das für Missgeburten, Alter? Wenn so ein Dunkelhäutiger kommt, der lauter ein Ausländer, Alter. Junge, den nimm den auseinander, egal wie alt er ist. Bei so einem Alten, Alter, guck dir den mal an, Alter. Dreckiger Bastard, ich würde einen Low-Kick geben. Rein ins Auto. Fertig, Bruder, was gibt's da zu reden, Achi? Wie alt er ist doch scheißegal, Achi. Nimm den in Handschellen, Mann, du ekelhafter, dreckiger, ekelhafter Typ, Alter.
Box. Got the knife and pants in it. And that's his phone right there next to it.
Is there any way that somebody can make sure my wife gets covered up before they... Well, I couldn't see something.
We're gonna make sure everything's taken care of. Now you gotta come over and we'll walk with
Yeah, I'll stay with you. Bud, you gonna stay with me for a minute, okay?
Oh, okay.
He's gonna bring the car up to you. Make it a little bit easier.
Wallah, ich hätte nicht mal eine Decke gegeben.
You gonna have to slide. Put your other foot up.
Digga, wenn du gut behandelt werden musst bei einem Mord, wenn du in den Knast gehst, dann musst du alt sein. Dann begeh Straftaten, dann wirst du so behandelt.
It's
Anscheinend.
important to remember that he just brutally killed his own wife.
Junge, der muss auf jeden Fall, Alter, im Knast, Alter, die Handjobs geben. Du dreckiger Esel, Alter. Bis zu deinem Mord wirst du geknechtet im Knast.
Harold had been living for the last year. They'd start with
Bis zu deinem Tod, meine ich.
the man who initially called 911.
The hell of a thing to wake up to on a Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I ain't been long got up. He called me. It's late. I said, yeah, you home? I said, yeah. He said, you got a gun? I said, yeah, bud, what's going on? I need you to shoot it. No, bud, I didn't see it. I just drank half the other food to help my read. I tried to kill me after I came. I need somebody to do it for me. I said, bud, I can see.
Harold's neighbor mentioned his wife helped treat his wounds after the shooting, so they decided to speak with her next.
Hey, y'all hadn't tried to clean up anything or anything that... What did you clean up? Yeah. Right, but what did you clean up, though? I mean, in the house. Not him personally, in the house.
I set him in his chair and I done everything in his chair.
Okay, so nothing else in the house? Okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
And I put the paper towels in that box.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just leave everything where it is now. That way the investigators can take pictures of everything.
He had his hands like this.
Yeah, was he anywhere else in the house? How did he come in? The back door?
I was down there in the yard,
And he just came straight through here? Did he go anywhere else in the house?
No.
All right, so he just came in here, sat down, and then...
She was in the kitchen. I heard you, yeah, come here, hurry. Walk around the corner. No, God, bud.
Okay, all right. So just to make sure, came in that door, walked straight over here, sat here until we got here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him just sit here. He said, did y'all call the police? He said, yes.
Okay.
I said, doesn't Mr. Hawkins tell me to do it?
All right, yeah, just don't mess with any of that. If you would, just stay out here or outside. It's fine. But that way they can go ahead and take pictures of everything, okay? Yeah, no, that's what I said. Out here and there. That way they can get pictures up. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, in case there's any drops or anything, that way they can get pictures of it.
Lastly, officers speak to Harold's boss and owner of the property. He was at the scene before officers arrived and could help give further insight into what actually happened.
Hey, how you doing? Hey there.
Yeah, we can't really say much. The one thing I can ask you, I understand you're the property owner, you have a right to be here, but this is an active crime scene, so we do need to keep everybody out.
Yeah,
so if
can
you
I go in the house?
No, the entire property is a crime scene right now. So we're still investigating.
Well, when he called me, he said, Nate, my aunt's husband, he said, where you at? I said, I'm just getting up. He said, can you come out here? I said, what's going on? He said, Bud just called me and told me to keep quiet. And he didn't have enough nerve to keep himself up. I made him halfway up the driveway because I treated him. I said, you better call 911.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't meet him up the driveway. First off, he messed up making the house. Because, you know, because the other day he was talking kind of off his head. But not murder off his head.
Basically, I just stood there, but his spontaneous utterances where he couldn't take it anymore. She wanted him to have another surgery on his shoulder that he was supposed to have next week, and he didn't want to because of the pain and everything he's in. Apparently, that's his boss from the country club. Apparently, he's also got some heart issues as well that's been going on it. Yeah, he couldn't take it anymore and something else. Basically, it was just one of those, he had to do it to get away from her. Pretty much what it boiled down to.
She wanted to have surgery.
Krank alle diese
Have
Menschen.
surgery. And he didn't want to have the surgery.
While some officers stayed at the scene to secure it, others transported Harold to the local hospital for treatment of potential injuries and to collect evidence such as his clothing. An officer would stick by his side, and they would have one final chat about the disturbing events that just went down an hour ago.
Do what, bud? Do what, man? Do what? They're working on getting you something that way you can use the bathroom. Yeah, we'll get that in just a second. They're gonna get you something to use the bathroom with, and then we'll get you out of that.
Junge, piss in deine Hose, du Ekelhafter. Danach gehst du eh duschen im Knast. Dreckiger.
Are you hearing any voices, anything like that? Right now?
You need to unplug this.
You hear me? Okay, not have any inner voices in your head.
Stay watch the ball, anything. Before you start pulling stuff with you.
That was all officers could get out of Harold, and honestly, everything that was necessary to convict him. He was deemed competent to stand trial, and on November 23rd, Harold Seidenfaden was convicted of 2 counts of murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, and 1 count of possession of a firearm. He was given life in prison.
Der soll schön im Knast sterben, Alter.
On April 23rd, 2022, officers from the Milwaukee Police Department in Wisconsin.
Ey, Chat, da kommen so viele verrückte Sachen. Aber bei aller Liebe, ich muss jetzt kurz was machen. Wir sehen uns auf jeden Fall. Ich denke mal morgen. Ich wünsche euch ganz viel Spaß, guten Start in die Woche, meine Freunde. Und